WWE turns down a huge free agent. Plus, we're going to talk about a new contract between WWE and TNA and so much more. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. Yes. All right, y'all, I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget, we got merchandise in the comment section and description down below. If you use the code SUMMER24, you could get 15% off. Definitely want to take advantage of that before it expires. It is while supplies last. I want to turn our attention to Bryan Danielson. Obviously, we have been super focused on the career of Bryan Danielson. Just the other day, we were talking about maybe his career coming to an end. And then AEW did something very interesting. They cemented it on Dynamite: title versus career. And what does this mean for Bryan Danielson moving forward? Well, we know that his contract has expired today, and we know that the neck issues that he has are actually real. However, Dave Meltzer was talking about this today and says that it is being exaggerated for the purpose of storyline. And obviously, AEW wouldn't book Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett for next week if that wasn't the case, which I think is very valid. I think it makes a lot of sense. But I really do want to just talk about my praise for AEW here. A lot of people were speculating that maybe Swerve should compete against Will Ospreay. People were talking about maybe Swerve going up against Ricochet, debuting at the company. But I think this is the right main event match. And honestly, it's very hard to choose because Hangman Page has come back and he's looking great. But Bryan Danielson putting his career on the line against Swerve just adds a whole level of unpredictability, especially because for the last year, Bryan Danielson has made it very clear that this contract that he has will in fact be his last one. Now, obviously, I don't believe that to be the case. Now, whether or not he's full-time, that's a whole different story. But whether or not Bryan Danielson actually retires, I just don't think that's going to be the case here. But the cool thing is with this stipulation and the way that they're building out the storyline, you just simply never know. In my previous video, I did discuss the possibility of Bryan Danielson celebrating with the yes, yes, yes chants and the music and the confetti. And it would just be such a feel-good way of ending All In. But also at the same time, too, imagine what a win for Swerve would do here. You know, I've been very happy to see his world championship reign. I think this guy is incredible. It's what I've been asking for since he signed with the company. And, you know, if he were to beat Bryan Danielson and retire him, that's a game changer. And look, I feel like right now this is being held very close to the chest of Tony Khan and Bryan and Swerve, but clearly they have a bigger picture with all of this. And I just love that. I think it's such a great thing. It's such an exciting thing. And it's something that people should get excited about. I feel like it really elevates All In as a pay-per-view. And that is something I'm definitely looking forward to. Guys, we know Joe Hendry is playing, both sides, right? We know he's in WWE. We know he's in AEW. But there's something really fascinating that's come out about his situation because he is speaking publicly about this. And basically, WWE and TNA have come to an agreement where Joe Hendry is able to train full-time at the WWE Performance Center. That's like unheard of. Like, this guy is working WWE and he's working TNA while at the same time is still able to be fully committed to his independent shows and his merchandise. This is something that is absolutely unheard of in WWE history. This is such a weird thing, but at the same time, too, it goes to show you the value that Joe Hendry brings to the WWE NXT brand. I mean, so much so that even on WWE Raw this past week, WWE was promoting Joe Hendry's concert. And then on NXT, you have Joe Hendry do his concert, which was great, and that's awesome. But at the same time, you then set up the match for next week against Joe Coffey. And again, you're just taking advantage of people talking about Joe Hendry. You do the concert, it's got people talking. Now you're going to give him a singles match. I mean, guys, this could very well be a situation where we eventually get Joe Hendry winning the WWE NXT Championship. And I'm just saying, like, this is not really far-fetched of an idea, but they're going into the CW TV deal. WWE sees the value in him. And you know, they're allowing him to basically just be his own guy. They're allowing him to work the indies. They're allowing him to do everything that an independent wrestler would do. And then they're allowing him to do the TNA thing. And then they're also giving him the benefits and perks of being a WWE superstar. I literally cannot fathom the idea of this. Like, it just seems so unique and so cool. And obviously for WWE and TNA to come up to an agreement for something like this, it actually is a game changer. And I don't know how many other wrestlers will get this level of treatment, but it goes to show you that Joe Hendry is actually very valuable. And I think that's such a cool thing. I've seen the guy in TNA. I've talked to him backstage at TNA, and he was just such a nice guy to even speak to. And you know, you kind of see his journey through all the years, and then you see him in this kind of situation, and yeah, it's pretty easy to be excited for the guy. I also think with Joe Hendry, what makes his situation so unique is that, you know, if he were to win WWE NXT Gold and then he's bringing that belt with him to the indies or taking it to TNA, I love that idea. I think it just does so much for the wrestling industry in general. And that is something I want to see happen, man. Like, that is something I'm genuinely fascinated by. I really would look forward to seeing that. And man, you literally never know what's going to happen. This version of WWE is so insane. Literally never say never. You guys may have seen the news about Shane McMahon meeting with Tony Khan and the image that was leaked. That was yesterday's news. But today, what's really interesting is, coincidentally, Dave Meltzer has come out and revealed that Shane McMahon has in fact tried to return to WWE, but the WWE is not interested. He stated that Shane McMahon has looked to get back into WWE, and he says that he knows the people in charge of WWE have no interest in him. Could that now change with the idea that he would be willing to go to AEW? Maybe, maybe not. Would he actually really be willing to go to AEW? I don't know where his mind is. Shane's got a lot of money, and if you compare the amount of money that he got for the amount of work that he did when he was active just a few times, it was a really high number, which we all know Shane McMahon was clearly paid a lot. That obviously had the fact to do that had a lot to do with the fact that he was Vince's son. But at the same time too, it's interesting. WWE turning down Shane McMahon's return. You know why? I'm not mad about it. I think there's a lot of people who are very wishy-washy on how they feel about Shane going to AEW. But if WWE is not interested and it makes business sense for AEW, why not do it? Have a plan. And I keep saying, guys, put him in the elite. I don't think people really understand how good that could actually be. Like, this storyline needs a little bit of a shot in the arm, right? And if you bring Shane McMahon, somebody who was part of the WWE, part of the family business that ran the wrestling world forever, you bring him into AEW as part of their big storyline, I think that could actually be really entertaining. Look, right now, AEW is the most focused it's been in years, and it's obviously paying off in terms of the quality of TV. Wrestling is subjective. Entertainment is subjective. We all know this. You might like it, you might not, but you're not going to get that tribalism bullshit on this channel. And for me personally, I think AEW is kind of kicking ass right now at a time where WWE is kicking ass right now. You add Shane McMahon into the mix, it's going to be in the headlines. People will always be talking about it. And I just think that is such a great thing to see firsthand. And listen, if Shane McMahon does actually go to AEW, it literally just goes to show you, never say never. All right, guys, that is the Ango Show.